She can hear. BJ, can you hear? He can't hear anything. See, you just did something. You just did whatever you did. Hey, all right, the music just want to keep on playing, don't it, tonight? Well, listen, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you guys are with me tonight. My apologies for being late, right? Super duper late. We're making some changes around here, and I got totally thrown off on my time. But we are here tonight. This is The Gray Matter, and welcome those of you that waited patiently. Thank you so much. Do me a favor, go ahead and tag somebody, like and share this video. Let them know that Apostle Gray is on the air and she want to see you in the studio. She want to see you in the room. Come on in the room. I'm getting ready to load these comments here so that I can see what, as we have this discussion tonight. I'm really excited about this discussion that we're going to have tonight. And yeah, go ahead and let people know that what we're going to be talking about. And let's get this party definitely started. If I can get the comments going up in here. Load. I want to thank all of you that are faithful and continued listeners to the show. Again, we're making some changes, and I'm shooting today from a different part of the house. This is my kind of like room, as you guys can see. Still love that pink, so this is one of my favorite places to be, and so that's one of the reasons why we were running a little bit late tonight. Want to thank again those of you that are already on. Say aloha to my aloha connection there in Hawaii. I see Diane and others of you that are already on. So thank you. If this is your first time watching The Gray Matter, I need you to comment. Right? Put something down there. Say yes, first time. I want to acknowledge you as a first time viewer of The Gray Matter and want to say welcome. You are among friends here today. Listen, so I want you to add into the conversation tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about something that I think is very near and dear to my heart. And I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take my microphone out. So y'all bear with me for a second. Because I don't have a lot of, my desk is actually over there and I don't have a whole lot of super duper space. But we're gonna make this work. So I'm gonna use my microphone today. Do I look like a singer? Do I look like Diana Ross? Probably not. Anyway, so want to talk about something tonight that I think is a conversation that has begun, and it needs to continue. And I believe it needs to continue on a deeper on a deeper level. And so I'm inviting you and joining you into this conversation that we're going to have tonight about the Black community and what is needed and some resolutions that I certainly believe would be a plus. We're also going to talk about susus. I don't know if any of you have heard of them, but we're going to talk about them. And how I believe that this is an economic, let's say, aspect or part of the resolution that I believe is going to tremendously help. Let's see, any other announcements, any other things that I need to get out the way? Oh, DNC convention. It's been a little difficult for me. I don't know about for you to kind of keep up with the DNC convention when it's normally publicized on television. I used to get it, but I cut cable cut the cable bill, snip, snip. And so I only get live streaming, and it's been really difficult to follow the events. And so I typically get them after the fact. Michelle Obama's speech I heard the next morning. Biden's heard today. And so what's going on today? As they peruse they did that last night, the delegates, but whatever they're doing tonight, I'm not going to get it till tomorrow. But it's not as exciting. I don't know about for any of you. It's a little lackluster in terms of building some excitement. I didn't really hear anything new, anything great. The greatest thing I think came out of the events the other night was the fact that Michelle Obama had on a necklace that said vote. And she had it specially designed. And so many people were inquiring about the necklace, not the speech, the necklace, that the makers of the necklace decided that they are going to uh, market it. So if you guys saw her, or just Google why I want to call her Moshel tonight. Google Michelle Obama necklace vote, and you'll get to find out where that is. Let's see what else is happening in the news that's really really still COVID-19. They believe they have a vaccine. Oh, but they did come up with a new test, right? I don't know if any of you have heard that. No more do you have to get that long swab up your nose that's like to the back of your brain. Now you can do a saliva, right? And the results are within 24 hours, right? I think that that's great considering the fact that we're just going to be approaching flu season in, another 30 to 60 days or so. And I think that's going to be very, very good. Someone asked a question, do we believe that wearing of mask is also going to help as it relates to, I'm trying to see, I still can't see all the comments. As it relates to the flu, is the mask going to also help people from catching the flu? Right. I think the science is still out on that. I mean, I think that it should, right, but primarily the flu is caught by individuals that have close contact with each other. It is related to not washing your hands. And so those of you that have progressed to the fact that you are now a consistent hand washer, where maybe you weren't before COVID, we're proud of you, right? Keep on washing those hands, and it'll definitely help you as it relates to the flu. My experience with the flu is, and I do get a flu shot, and so don't inbox me and tell me all the negativities about the flu shot. It has really been a blessing in my life. I'm not really sure. I've been taking the flu shot now, oh my gosh, maybe 15 years, and so maybe there's an after effect that's going to happen on the 20th year. I don't know, but it really helps my immune system. But my experience with the flu is I've only caught the flu when others in my house had the flu and we all were in the same house, right? How many of you have had that experience? One person in your house catches the flu, and all of a sudden now everybody's got it. I've heard of what people go through with COVID, and it's pretty bad. For some individuals, it's deadly, and even so is the flu. That flu is no joke, man. I had the flu once, and I tell you, it was, I think the dehydration that comes with the flu makes you feel really, really bad. So back to the question. The mask should help. I hope so. I hope that it does help as we approach the flu season, but certainly we're not coming out from underneath these masks for any time soon. That is a topic for discussion on a spiritual note, right? Um, we've been forced to mask, and I'm going to deal with that, but not tonight. All right, so let's get into tonight's topic. I want to start by saying wow, how did I get to this subject tonight? I got to it through a various ways. So I'm involved in the susu, and we're going to talk about that. And I've done investigations about it. How does it work? Is it a pyramid? And we're going to get into that in a few minutes. But I wanted to start with the conversation of why do other communities seem to be able to develop neighborhoods in our neighborhood and we're not able to do that, right? So let me state the premise again. Why are other communities, so specifically the Asian community and the Indian communities in some parts of the world, they're able to come into black neighborhoods and be successful business owners, and their whole family becomes success. And in our own black community, we don't seem to be able to accomplish that on a scale that indicates an impact. Yes, I know that there are some neighborhoods where black entrepreneurs and families have had success. In fact, there's a one of my girlfriends way back, high school buddies, Khadijah Henry. Hey, girl. Um, Really good friend. We've been friends for a long time. Her family lives in Hokut Hill, right? That's their last name, Hokut, and all Hokuts live on Hokut Hill, right? So there are places where small pockets of success are with or thriving black entrepreneurs in a particular area, but it's not making a grand enough impact where we see it globally. So I wanted to start by talking about the Black Wall Street, right? How many of you have heard of that? Give me some likes, some hearts, some something. In fact, let me go to my Facebook page right here, and maybe I can see some of these comments as we are talking. If you've heard of the Black Wall Street, then give me some hearts, likes, something, so that I know that, yep, you know about it, right? For those of you that don't, let me just give you a little bit of history on the Black Wall Street. So there was a man, last name Gurley, O.W. Gurley, back in the 1900s. I want to say, I want to say 1906 maybe. Uh, Found himself, he purchased 40 acres of property that was once owned by the Navajo, or not by the Navajo, but by the Native Americans. And through the government taking over our land, and I say our because I am Cherokee Indian, right? Or part Cherokee. My grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee Indian, beautiful. Woo, she had hair like way down here, maybe way down here. I used to have hair way down here. You don't believe me, but I did. Um, so he was able to, through the government's maneuvering, he was able to purchase 40 acres. And I haven't found the link to this yet, but I'm guessing that that's where we get 40 acres and a mule, right? Because he was the first one who initiated entrepreneurship. So Mr. Gurley bought these 40 acres and became very successful. And he began to see the need for blacks to be able to get money, to get a leg up, to move forward, because they were denied getting banking for their businesses, right? So some of you may have seen the movie Bankers. Excellent, excellent, excellent movie. I'm not getting paid to promote them right now, but if anybody's out there eventually listening and you would like me to promote your product or movies or whatever, I'm up for that. But Bankers was a really, really good movie, and it depicts what happened. And so if you get an opportunity, I think it's on, well, just Google it and it'll tell you where you can get it. So Mr. Gurley decided that he was going to start lending money to blacks who could not get funds, banking loans through any other means, right? And I certainly believe that that was a systematic way to keep blacks from becoming successful, right? To keep them in the position of maids and in the position of bus drivers and chauffeurs and all those type of things that were going on at that particular time. But Mr. Gurley, along with some partners that he reached out to, decided to start lending money, right? So initially he started with his own money, and he began to lend money, and businesses began to flourish. The name of the town was Greenwood. And so Greenwood began to flourish. Businesses after businesses became successful. And when their businesses became successful, their families became successful. Individuals were able to go to college, and they were able to, do certain things that they couldn't do before because they were hampered. But what I want us to understand is that this happened all because they decided, or Mr. Gurley decided, to implement and put something in place so that they could definitely move forward. I want to read something to you all that I read about this, about Mr. Gurley, and you know, so I want to share that with you. So just give me a second. Let me just put this down and get my notes where they need to be. All right, so this past June marked the 99th year of the fall of Greenwood, of that area. So Greenwood began to flourish, and white America didn't like it. And you come on, you guys know me. I talk straightforward about scripture. I talk straightforward about other things. I'm talking straightforward. So for those of you who are my lighter skinned friends, please don't take offense to what I'm saying. And those of you who are the same color skin, darker or a little bit lighter than me, don't take offense either, because yeah, we have black people who are racist against black people, just as we have white people that are racist against black people. So I don't want my Caucasian friends to get nervous. Don't get nervous. This is just a conversation, right? We are implementing some information. But white America did not like the fact that this community was thriving. They threatened them, tried to legally cause them to not continue to do what they were doing in this community, where we began to own things and make things happen and change. This is the important thing for me, and to change the lives of those in the community, right? To change the lives of those in the community. Yes, there was racism then, like there's racism now. Yes, there was economic oppression then, like there's economic oppression now. And even more so because they had Jim Crow, right? And so the argument is, it's a level playing field. The same oppositions that they had, we have, right? And so, white America didn't like it, and they wanted to stop them. And so they tried every kind of way to stop Greenwood from flourishing. And when all else failed, right? When all else failed, the threats, the injunctions and different things to try to bring them up on charges. If you watch the movie Banker, in the movie Banker, they went to jail. To punish them for what they were doing. But in real life, a racial war broke out. I believe it lasted 30 days. And they burnt down Greenwood. Huge massacre. I mean, just close to 150 people, I believe, lost their lives in 30 days due to the fact that there were those who opposed. And when I say those, white America at that time opposed the fact of a successful black community that was thriving. Now, that was 99 years ago. Since then, there's not been an attempt to create another Black Wall Street. And so I began to ask myself, why? Why, if we did it once, that we cannot do it again? Why? So I was prompted. I was scrolling through Facebook stories, as I often do. Love Facebook stories. In fact, Facebook stories, I get more likes on my Facebook stories than I do on my Facebook post. And I think that's because it's short, sweet. You can just, get on it, click like, and keep it moving, right? Scrolling, you got to go. Anyway, So Facebook stories is becoming popular. Let me just pause right here. And Facebook is not paying me to say this, but since this is the media and platform that I'm using, let me just say this: Facebook is doing some innovative things. Man, I saw some commercials, and Mr. Zuckerberg is not afraid to allow his team to go out the box. They about to launch Facebook Watch. I know it's already been out there, but they're getting ready to bring on celebrities and blah blah blah. So that's cool. And then they're launching something else really really soon. So don't get comfortable with the way your Facebook page is looking right now because it's getting ready to change. Right. So anyway, I I was scrolling through stories and I came across one of my spiritual sons. Hi Alexis O. Thomas Jr. So, and he's the one that kind of prompted me to do this show because I made a comment to the post. So it was a young woman, and the story's no longer up there because I certainly was going to try to play that video for you all. Um, and she was on there talking about why are we not having the conversation of why black communities are economically oppressed, and why aren't we holding black people responsible for changing their neighborhoods, their families economically. And that got me to thinking. So I started researching. And what I found is 99 years has passed and no one has tried to rebuild the Black Wall Street, right? Black Wall Street is not taught in public schools. No, it's not mentioned. I had no idea. The first time I heard of the Black Wall Street was from my mama. We used to do a financial seminar every first of the year or right before the first of the year at our local ministries, Rehoboth Agape International Fellowship Ministries. Yes, don't y'all forget it. And we used to do, and she would teach us on, how to be successful. So she was the first person to bring the Black Wall Street and what it was, to us. And so I was thinking about that and why 99 years has passed and nobody has attempted to do it. And so I wrote this response to that video. And so let me go back and see if I can find it. So my response says, so she was asking, what do other cultures know? Specifically, she said, what do the Asians know that we don't know? What do the Indians, and I mean from the country India, what do they know that we don't know? Right? And so I said, what they know that we don't know is it takes a village to create a sustainable community, economically, socially, and morally. Selah. It takes a community to do that, right? Black people rely on the white blueprints that aren't currently designed for us or our community. Now I'm going to stop there. Well, I'm going to go back. Let me read the whole thing. So then I said, if we did like our ancestors, the Africans did, and the Asians do, and other cultures do, and help one another till we all come up, then we come up too, right? So let me just go back to that part. I think the reason why for 99 years no one has tried to do another Black Wall Street is because we continue to try to use a blueprint that is not designed for us to do it. It's not designed for us to create another Black Wall Street, right? Many people adopt a blueprint of success that wasn't created by us and it's not created for us. And oftentimes we get caught up in the exceptions to the rule, right? Those who become prominent, those who make it through. And listen, let me see, this is going to be a long conversation, but I'm definitely going to try to stay within my time. But I am not one for giving a pass to individuals, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, who don't want to work for achieving goals. And I don't mean work in terms of labor 40 hours. I mean doing what it takes to get ahead. So I celebrate those who would get their education and get a degree and become gifted or crafted or an entrepreneur through hard work. I celebrate that. I've seen it in my own life. I saw it in my greatest example, my mother. You know what I mean? She was an entrepreneur, black woman entrepreneur before there was ever, you know, really celebrated in that respect. So I'm not talking about that. But what I'm talking about, those who don't want to work, I want to say that the blueprint is, if you get successful, you go through college, you get a degree, you get a good job, whatever that is. I don't even want to, whatever we consider to be a good job, and you make it, then white America's happy. They celebrate you. They say, "Oh, wow, you are a credit to your race." How many of you ever heard that? I have. You're a credit to your race. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm not better than anyone else in my race. And how dare you try to get me to look at myself differently than from the race and the culture where I came from. And there are many Black Americans that fall prey to that. Like somehow, because we are successful, that now we are not part of the African American culture, right? We're the exception. I know, and listen, and I know there are exceptions to that exception. I know that there are some very successful producers, TV, and movie stars that are definitely not caught up in that, right? There are some that keep it definitely real, but they're not widely using their platform, right? They're not creating another Black Wall Street. The blueprint that many of us try to use. And listen, I've even attended seminars, right? Empowerment seminars and different things about entrepreneurship. And what I find is individuals take what white America offers in terms of strategies and solutions for successful business, because that's how they got success. And then what we do is we try to bring that in to our community, and it's not designed for us. It's not. Yes. Please don't email me and inbox me and tell me about all the successful entrepreneurs that you can name that are successful. They're millionaires. But I will tell you, they used a blueprint that only helped them and didn't help the whole community. Selah. Black Wall Street changed an entire community, right? And so for 99 years, we have been set back as a people, right? Yes, there are those of us that can overcome hurdles, overcome obstacles. When they give us a crack, we can get in, right? And we so glad to squeeze in. We like, ooh, let me in. I got a degree, let me in. I got a little coin, let me in. And we so happy to get in that they shut, after you squeeze in, they shut it, right? And you so happy to be in, they shaking hands with you, they praising you, that you forget there's a community that's still suffering. How do they get out? So, what do the Asians know? What do the Indians know who come into Black communities and flourish that we don't know? And one of the things I believe that they know that we don't know, or maybe we know it and don't employ it, is that it takes a community. So, which brings me to Susus. In Susu is, comes from Africa in terms of how they distribute wealth, right? Currently, they don't call them Susus in America. We call it gifting, right? It didn't have a name when our African brothers and sisters came over here, right? Back in the 70s, right? When Africans started to migrate here very, very heavily, Africans and Jamaicans started to migrate to the U.S. very heavily. And when I was growing up, we would just see that they all lived in the same house, maybe 20 of them in the same house. Maybe one person was working initially. They slept on the floor. They ate very little. But little by little, you saw them pop out. You know, might have been five families living together. Then all of a sudden, one family, boop, popped out, and then they had their own place. And then what they did is they brought over other families, and they started to do the same thing, right? Pooling their resources together till they all got out, right? I see it happening in the Asian community, right? I don't go to the Asians to get my nails done anymore. But when I did, I saw that happened. And listen, I don't know if some of you, maybe you had, when I would go to the nail salon, I would befriend my nail tech. Like, I don't just want to just sit there and let them be doing my nails and we ain't got nothing to talk about. So I befriended my nail tech back in the 1990s. And he began to tell me how they, I would ask him, is that your wife? Yeah, that's my wife. Who's that person? Blah, 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 blah. And they would all live together, right? Pool their monies together, do nails together, make enough money, and pop out another nail salon, right? All of them know each other. All of them know each other. And then they bring somebody else over, get them to go to school, get their nail tech license, right? That name on the wall, when you go to the nail tech and you see her name is Lynn, that ain't her real name. That ain't her real name, right? But they understood the way they're gonna come up, or the way we're gonna come up. Their mentality is we got to help each other, right? So back in the 70s and 80s, we would see Jamaicans and Africans in our community come over and listen. Stupid us, stupid me. We be laughing at them. Oh, they all live in the same house, blah 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 blah, and we bragging because I got my own room, I got my own phone in my room. But in the meantime, they coming up. They're coming up. So what they know that we don't know is the fact that it takes us to be able to help one another, right? Get out of this me, mine, and mine alone mentality, and embrace the mentality that we can regain control if we break down the barrier and decide I'm going to be a part of a community that helps one another, right? We got one aspect of it. So in my response, I said, economically, socially, morally, right? Morally tied to religion. Oh, we got that on lock. We knew how to support each other religiously, right? We don't mind going to church, jumping and shouting, being together, holding each other accountable religiously as black people. We don't mind doing that. Girl, your skirt too short. Girl, let mother help you. Let me give you a hanky. Cover up them knees, cover up the breasts. And, we don't mind helping spiritually, morally. We got that on lock. We need to begin to help economically and socially. To pull together with that same fervor. You want to tell, young brother to, pull his pants up and, don't be hanging on the corner with that same fervor. Preacher, teacher, evangelist, with that same fervor we need to have about helping our communities come up economically. And one of the ways I believe that we're going to do it. Now, you don't have to get into susus or gifting. I mean, that I'm going to talk about me and my thing. You don't have to get into that, but you really need to be finding out. So how come other communities can come together and help one another and put down their differences? And, there's no, what's the word I want to say? There's no jealousy, right? They realize we all love the same race. All of the same race. Yep. We the same. You from Korea? I from Korea. Automatically same. Our community. I take responsibility. I am part of the change for this to happen. Right? I take responsibility that we've got to change the way we think about each other. because we've adopted a mentality. Now, I will tell you, and I don't know if this comes from England. I don't know if when we broke off with England that all of a sudden now that white America adopted this dog eat dog mentality. I don't know where that came from, but they will stomp on each other and kill each other and backstab each other. And they say that what's the phrase, that good guys don't win, so you got to cheat in order to win. That's what's portrayed. Now, I don't know if it's a reality because I'm not in the white community. I don't live, amongst them. They let me know what they want me to know. Come on, my friend. My friends that know me, we friends for real, right? This is not, yeah. I'm talking in general, right? So, yeah, I don't know, but I know what I see, and I know what I experienced in corporate America. Corporate America was not designed for me to be successful. Corporate America was designed for them to take whatever gift and talent I could give so that their business could flourish and they could be successful. And they will stab each other in the back, undercut whatever to become successful. I was getting ready to say something. Just look at politics. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, yeah, that's not our culture, right? We're not designed like that. But many have changed their nature. The scripture says that. Oh, I just felt a little preacher, right? The Bible talks about, and they changed their nature. And now I know that scripture is talking about, it's talking about the nature of a man and a woman. But I'm using it that as blacks, we have changed our nature of nurturing and helping, and takes a village to raise a child. We've adopted this. If I make it, I'm good. And you ought to do the same thing I did. And if you can't do it the same way I did, then, God bless you. I'll throw you, I'll give you a little something to help you out your troubles. Now go on and don't come back no more. Right? Other communities don't do that. They continue to help one another until they all come out. So I want to encourage those of you that have influence in your church, in your circles, in your sororities, right? Let's not just give helping hands, right? And I know right now in this pandemic, we all need to help each other, and we are giving food, we're giving money, we're helping with bills. This is what we do to help. But let's go beyond just giving a help. Right? What is the old proverb? Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man a fish, he can eat for the rest of his life. We need to start teaching how our black communities can thrive for the rest of our time here, however long that's going to be. And I do realize that type of thinking, that type of mentality has a history and legacy of direct conflict and direct what's the word? Direct rebuttal, right? Those of us that are going to, look to do this are going to receive criticism. Just know that. But the way we come up, y'all, is by helping one another. So we got to tear down that mentality that seems to exist in our own community, which is one of the reasons why when black people riot, they riot in their own community and tear it down. Because there's nothing they own there, right? And I know that there have been some places where black businesses in communities during riots were targeted and vandalized. I get that, and I believe the reason why that happened is because the blacks in that community saw him as the one that squeezed through, and the door got shut, and so they didn't see it as an avenue for them. They didn't see they couldn't have seen it as something that was viable for them, right? Who does that? What person in their right mind tears down their own community? So when I see blacks against black on black crime and black on black murders, and when I see that, yes, I think that those who are doing those things ought to be arrested. But I understand it. I understand the mentality, right? Studied psychology, thought I was going to be a psychologist. There is a systemic um, psychological interpretation in that's going on in their brain, and it's rewired their way of thinking. But if we can begin to change the way we think economically and the way we think about one another, that we see that we the same, right? Other communities do that. Jewish community, we the same. So that's my spiel on that. I can't read any of the comments. Let me just come over here. I'm going to ask if you have a comment, do me a favor and direct message me on Facebook. Send me a message really quick, and I'll be able to get it quicker that way. So let's talk about gifting. Right, there are a lot of individuals, and there's a lot going on. Some of them call them flowers, some of them call it, different things. And so before I got involved in gifting, I wanted to know what it was about. I wanted to know how it worked and why is it working, and how does this thing happen. And one of the questions that is often asked about gifting is it legal? And the fact of the matter, it is legal. Let me just read something to you. So the concept of private gifting is based upon the fact that both Americans and Canadian citizens have the constitutional right to gift property, cash, and other assets, and are subject to the rules and regulations established by the laws. The U.S. gifting rules are found in the IRS Tax Code Title 26, Section 2501 through 2504, and also in 2511. Right? Now, not all gifting is the same. So just like let me see, just like not all Chanel bags are the same, because some of them are knockoffs. They may have the symbol, but it's a knockoff. Right? Not all giftings are the same. Some of them are knockoffs, and some of them are because they can operate and they aren't governed by the IRS or anything like that. It's called gifting. That yes, some of them get away with it. So you do have to be careful. But I do want you to understand that there are some gifting opportunities out there that I believe is a way for our communities to come up. It's a way for us to make investments in each other in order to have money to invest in our future. Right? When I look at the statistics of how much money the Black community contributes to the economy, and some of us should have saw that when those stimulus checks went out in Atlanta, and how they just went absolutely berserk, opening up hair salons, because they know that's where they know that's where y'all gonna spend your money. Anyway, I digress. But so gifting is legal. All right. Some people say, is it a pyramid scheme? Let me just read you that. It is not a pyramid scheme. Those that are legit, those that are legitimate, and let me tell you why. I'm sensing some beeping going on. So let me go over here to I got a message. So let's see. Who messaged me? Phil. Phil says, please post your discussion in Streets. I will. Thank you. I will definitely do that, Phil. What was I saying? So it's not a pyramid scheme, right? And I'm going to tell you the difference between a pyramid scheme. And I studied pyramid schemes when I was part of, I'm still a Primerica life insurance agent. And I was a Primerica life insurance. Somebody just, here we go. Sandra Harris, yes, ma'am. Corporate America is not designed. Right. Thank you, Sandra. Sandra knows, right? Corporate America is not. So I was going to say, I researched pyramid schemes when I, started selling insurance for a major company. And a lot of people used to think our company was a pyramid scheme. So I researched them, and this is what I want to share with you as it relates to a pyramid scheme. So the definition of a pyramid is a system or structure which resembles a pyramid, right, with an ever widening base, usually associated with a company. So number one, If your gifting organization that you're a part of is a corporation, they go by the name of a company, then you're going to need to be careful. If they want you to build some base and, you got to have, this many people in order for you to move up, that's a pyramid scheme, right? That, yeah, you don't want to be a part of that. You want to, oh, I'm getting hot. Now I know why I like to film in the other room. But anyway, you you don't, yeah, so you have to do your investigating when you're dealing with these giftings or susus or what flowers or whatever. Don't just join one um, just because, right? You really have to do your research. And listen, there are some that are out there. You can start with as little as $25, right? Who can't, $25 is nothing. It costs, yeah, anyway, I don't even want to get into, but $25, right? We blow that. You can get involved for $25, and if you lose $25, no big deal, right? The one, I was very much interested in, cost $100 to get in, and I said, look, I told my cousin, I said, okay, let's do it, but and if we lose, it's only $100. Now I got to give props to my cousin Charlene. So have been studying, these, or got invitations to look at some of these. And as I investigated, so my questions were, who we sending the money to, right? I'm a little bit leery when we're using Cash App to make transactions, right? That was my first opposition, right? Then I looked into it, right? Cash App has come a long way. They're not perfect, but I understand that that's a business, and Cash App, whoever came up with that, man, I'm telling you, anyway. So I was a little bit leery when the way that you function through one that I was introduced to was through Cash App. I was like, well, where does the money go? What bank we using? who managing the money? Who Cash App? Yeah. So, and when they couldn't answer those kind of questions for me, then I knew like that's not for me, right? So you have to do your investigating. But the difference, how you'll know it's not a pyramid scheme, it has to be gifting, right? That terminology, that wording has to be a part of whatever it is, and you got to trust. So my cousin Charlene is the one who said, "Listen, I want to. I'm just gonna," and she's probably gonna kill me for putting this out there, but she said, "Cuz I want to bless you. I want you to think about this." And so she sent me the information. I looked at it. I was skeptical. I don't know if she could tell I was skeptical, but I was skeptical. I was like, even if you giving me the money, and she wasn't giving me no small chunk of money either. This was, yeah. So anyway, so I started investigating, and I said, okay. And so we've been working and moving forward in this area of, so we're doing it for our family. We're bringing our family in. The board I'm on is not open yet to get my children, because I want them on the same. I want it to be ours, right? So our whole family, not just mine, right? So my family is a part of it, but our whole family, we're getting involved in this gifting so that we all can come up, right? That's the point of tonight, so that we all come up. My cousin Charlene was not selfish. She said somebody gifted her, and she wanted to gift me. Now, I'm getting a little emotional behind my eyes. You guys can't see it. Our family is very self-sufficient, right? It's almost like if I was in trouble, I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah. And even if you find out, I'm still gonna be like, no, I'm good, cuz I'm good. In fact, when she approached me, I said, no, cuz I'll wait. She said, mm-mm. She said, I know us, right? We the same. Anyway, so I wanted to do this show. I got 2 minutes. I wanted to do this show to start the conversation and the dialogue that we got to stop trusting a system that's not designed for us to win. It's designed for some of us to win, but it's not designed for all of us to win. So we have to take that responsibility. How do I change a community? How do I change Big Q from selling dope, crack, but I don't say dope anymore. Tell how old I am, right? From selling weed or selling whatever, how do I convince Big Q, who's making way more money than me on a weekly basis, how do I get his mentality to change from doing that and tearing down our community and shooting one another and get him to see a different concept? I gotta I gotta create something that's of value to him to change us so we can come up. And I believe that our ancestors had it right. So I'm just going to drop that right there. Listen, I do want to say I'm so grateful for, I think I want to do split screen. Here we go. I got to get in the frame though. All right. Am I in the frame? Nope. Got to scoop. Anyway, so I'm grateful for my book. Got a prophetic word from Pastor Margaret Crosby about 2 weeks ago. And her word was, dust off your book, 40 Ways to Enhance Your Spiritual Vision. Right. And I had been thinking, in fact, I was looking for the book. I had a box of my books left and I was looking for them because my publisher who published the book is no longer publishing. And so I was looking for the book and I couldn't find it. So shortly after that, I get this prophetic word text, dust off your book. And so I called her immediately, said, listen, sis, I know that's the Lord because I was looking for my boxes of books, right? A couple of days ago, I get an inbox from a school who wants to use my book in their curriculum. I'm telling you, God, yeah, God. He's just awesome. So if you don't have a copy of my book, I want to encourage you to get a copy. I am getting ready to, since my publisher no longer, but I've always held the rights to my book. And since he's no longer doing it, I'm going to start distributing my books. If you'd like to get a copy of my book, I tell you what, tonight and tonight only, I'm going to slash the price of this book right here. Okay, I'm going to slash the price and you can get a copy of 40 Ways to Enhance Your Spiritual Vision for just $7. Okay, $7. Message me and tell me you want a copy of the book. I believe God's getting ready to do something tremendous through the knowledge that he imparted to me in this book. This book deals with the way we look at things, the way we miss visual cues that will cause us to see deeper and further and around. So if you want to get a copy of that, then message me and I'll be glad to get that over to you. As always, before we get ready to go, I want to thank my sponsors who support the broadcast every week, or some of them do it monthly. Want to say thank you to LWT Ministries in Weatherford, Texas. They're not in Waxahachie. In Weatherford, Texas. Want to thank God for them and shout out to my brother. Happy belated birthday, Apostle Lance, and to his lovely wife, Wanda. Want to thank God for my spiritual daughter, Love Walk Ministries. Tremendous woman of God. If you're not following her, you need to do that. She's a great intercessor, prayer warrior, prophetic, and she's got a great book too. Excuse me while I unmask. Oh no, it's not an unmask. I'm not okay. Yeah. So you want to definitely, she was a guest on my show a couple of weeks ago. So we want to shout out to her. Lynette Calvin. Woo! Lynette's going to be a guest on my show on the 20th, I believe the 26th next week. So I'm looking forward to talking with her. She's got a great ministry, and she, along these lines I want to talk about tonight, about helping one another. This is what she does, and she gets paid for it. So you don't want to miss that discussion. And she also won last week. Lynette, let me know how you like your gift, how you like your shirt. Also want to thank Taisha Bryant, who is a patron. And let me see, did we get any new patrons? I think we did. We did get one more last week, and so I'm going to shout your name out next week. I didn't add it to my show notes, but definitely want to thank you for your gift, because you helped for us to get some things out in the postage, and so we certainly want to thank you for that. Listen, it's been my pleasure tonight to share with you all. I hope that what I shared tonight, I hope that what I shared tonight was not offensive, right? Sometimes my mother says, or actually it was my sister who used to always say it, sometimes the truth hurts, right? Sometimes we don't want to hear the truth. We want to hear everything else but the truth. So I want to say, if it hurt a little bit, um, find out what's the source of that hurt. Am I hurting because I don't understand it? Am I hurting and offended because I'm not ready to deal with it? Deal with that, and then let's talk next time. I'm your girl, Apostle Norma Wide Gray, and you've been watching The Gray Matter. I want to certainly thank you for watching the show, and we'll be back next week. Tune in, and we're going to be on time.